this is introduced into the 10 millimeter port, and it become a 5 millimeter port. And the flap reducer, only this is a flap type of instrument. Only this part is introduced into the 10 millimeter port, and it becomes a 5 millimeter port. Therefore, these are known as reducer. There are two types of reducer: tube reducer and flap reducer. And this is the most important instrument of the laparoscopy. It is known as telescope. We simply say this is telescope. Actually, we don't introduce camera within the body. We attach the camera with the telescope. Here we attach the camera, and through this telescope, we can see inside the abdominal cavity or peritoneal cavity. This is known as telescope. And there is a side channel. This is for the introduction of gases, the gas. In my last class, I told you that we introduce carbon dioxide to distend abdomen. And through this side, we introduce the gas. No, sorry, we don't introduce the gas through this. We introduce the gas through cannula. And this is for camera. And you see the telescope, details of telescope, the same thing. And this is the camera. Actually, this is the outer part of the camera which is attached to the telescope. We fixed this part with that part of the camera, and through which we can see the inside of the laparoscope. And this side channel is for introduction of light. And this is camera. And these are forceps. Actually, these are all forceps, variously known as forceps, grasper, or dissector, whatever might be. All of these instruments are basically are same. Just there is a difference in the teeth. There are three parts of this instrument. One is the handle. This handle, there may be a ratchet or there may be a clamp or not, just this, and this is the clamp. There is no clamp here. This is the handle. Then there is a long shaft which is introduced within the body, and in the tip there are various functional instruments. Therefore, basically these are of three parts, and we can interchange. We can interchange. Suppose we have introduced this instrument, we can use this handle in case of this handle, or we can introduce this instrument through this shaft. We can interchange sometimes. There are therefore, basically there is three parts. One is handle, one is shaft, and the working instrument. That is, here it is the scissor, or it may be something else. Therefore, the instrument actually just is blades, not in the shaft, not in the handle. You should remember and identify just the blade. Don't try to remember this shaft. All the shafts are almost same, and the handle. The handles are also almost same, just someone have the clamp or someone don't have the clamp. The difference is in this part, the blade. This is a scissor, obviously you can see. Therefore, try to identify the tip of all the instrument. or the blades of the instrument. That is important. You see, this is a instrument, the tip, and this is another, this is another. These are another multiple shaped tips, and these are different instrument. You see, the difference is in the blades of the instrument. Now, I am going to the individual instrument, the most important one which we use in our operations. This is a blunt instrument. You see, the tip is blunt, and there are serrations, and this is a grasper. Actually, this is a grasper. We can hold the, suppose the gallbladder, the fundus of the gallbladder, or the neck of the gallbladder, or anything like that. This is a grasper, to grasp a organ. Simply, we can grasp this. Therefore, this is a blunt organ. Actually, this grasper may be traumatic or atraumatic. When there is a atraumatic, there is a tooth. You see, in this one, there is a tooth here, and this is traumatic. There is no tooth here. This is atraumatic. And you know where we can use the instrument of tooth. When the tissues are hard, which cannot be held with a smooth instrument, then we want to use the instrument with tooth or traumatic instrument. This is another grasper. Actually, this is one of the most important instruments used in laparoscopic cholecystectomy or in many operations. You see the shape of the blade. The shape is somewhat carved. This curved shape, this instrument, just remember this curvature, this curved shape. This is, and there are serrations, the transverse serrations, the blunt end. This is known as Maryland forceps or Maryland grasper or Maryland dissector. Actually, this is one of the most important instruments used in laparoscopic surgery. We can dissect the plane, we can dissect the organs, we can hold the organs, and therefore it is, at the same time, it is a grasper and is also a dissector, or we can say it is a forceps. Then Maryland forceps. The same instrument, the Maryland forceps. You see the curvature of the instrument, the curvature of the blade, and you see the transverse serrations in the blade. This is the Maryland forceps. And this is another instrument. This is, you see, this is a heavily serrated. The serrations are heavy. This is a tough instrument to hold the tough tissue. This is a grasper and can use to hold the tough tissue. And this is also a grasper. And do know this type of instrument, the spoon-shaped instrument. It is in general surgical instrument. We have already known that this is a Babcock forceps. Here it is also known as Babcock's forceps or Babcock's grasper. Babcock's forceps. With this instrument, in general surgery, where we use Babcock forceps, the soft structure like intestine. Actually, that is known as Babcock intestinal forceps. Here Also, we hold the intestine or very soft tissue with this Babcock's grasper or Babcock's forceps. It is a spoon-shaped instrument, the Babcock forceps. You see the Babcock forceps. And this is a heavily toothed forceps. And there is the one of the jaw is fixed, it is a straight, and another jaw is mobile. This is, we call this as crocodile forceps. This is also another type of crocodile forceps, or we can say this is claw forceps, because this is some thought like the claw of a crocodile or their sort of instrument. This is also known as claw forceps or crocodile forceps. And you see this blade. There is just a tube at the end, and there is a hole in the tube. There is nothing other than that. This is the sucker. It is the sucker. Therefore, the end is blind and there is a hole in the end. That is sucker, the laparoscopic sucker. And obviously, you know this instrument. This is scissor, the laparoscopic scissor. And this instrument, the tip, you see the tip, and by seeing this, you can assume that this is a hook. This is a hook forceps or monopolar hook. Hook forceps, hook electrode, or diathermy hook, whatever you may say. Diathermy hook, hook electrode, hook forceps, or monopolar hook, monopolar diathermy, etc. This is a diathermy instrument. The same thing, monopolar hook or monopolar electrode, forceps, the same instrument, the same instrument, the same thing. I am just showing you to understand the tip. Same thing. And this is a bipolar electrode. That was monopolar electrode, and here it is bipolar electrode. The blades, here it is not a hook, but instead of there are two blades, and this is a bipolar electrode. And this is a clip applicator. You see there is a clip inside, and we use this clip to seal a vessels or a duct, such as cystic duct, cystic vessels, etc., or any other vessels or duct. Clip, and this is the clip applicator. This is a heavily built instrument because we have to apply the clip very tightly, otherwise it will slip out of the vessel, and therefore this is a heavily built instrument. This is the handle, heavily built handle, then the shaft and the blade. And this is a needle holder. This is the needle holder. Actually, this is the handle, and this is the needle holder. Okay, usually we use this instrument in laparoscopic surgery. Now, again, try to recapitulate what we have learned in laparoscopic surgery. These 5 or 6 instruments you have to remember, not all. Okay, this is trocar and cannula. Number 1, trocar and cannula. Number 2, tube reducer and flap reducer, actually reducer. Then trocar and cannula and reducer, telescope, Maryland forceps. This is very important, Maryland forceps. Therefore, number 3 is Maryland forceps. Number 4, Babcock's forceps. This is number 4, Babcock forceps. I don't know whether these instruments will be given in your exam or not. You see the blade. The end of the blade is narrow than this part. Actually, this is known as dolphin forceps, like the mouth of a dolphin, which has become very narrow. It is dolphin forceps. Then this is dolphin forceps, then Babcock's forceps, then this is claw forceps or crocodile forceps. These are all crocodile forceps or claw forceps. This is sucker, scissor, hook, monopolar hook, bipolar hook, clip applicator. I think that's all. If you can learn these several instruments, probably your laparoscopic instrument part will be covered up. Okay. Then, shall we proceed further today? Or here I stop? Okay, how is your idea? Should we go further? Okay. Few minutes are left. Okay. Now, let us become acquainted with some orthopedics instrument. Not all, some of the orthopedic instrument. This is a very common orthopedic instrument. You see the instrument. There is a sharp end and there is a handle and there is a grouped area, serrated grouped area to raise the thumb. This is periosteum elevator. We elevate the periosteum from bone. Actually, we separate the periosteum from bone with this instrument. It is known as periosteum elevator. It is used almost all orthopedics operations because in orthopedics operation they cut bone and before cutting they want to separate the periosteum from the bone. Therefore, this is a very common instrument in orthopedic surgery. This is known as periosteum elevator. Periosteum elevator, thick, strong handle, shaft is raised and grooved for firm support. Tip is sharp with gentle curve to elevate the periosteum from bone. And this is a sharp instrument and therefore it cannot be autoclaved. It should be sterilized chemically with alcohol, etc. And this is a bone nibbler. The tip is just to hold a small chips of bone and remove it. Actually, to nibble the end of the bone. Therefore, it is known as bone nibbler. This is the handle, the long handle, then the short joint and the blades. This is the bone nibbler. With bone nibbler, we remove small chips of bone. A strong handle with groove and leverage. Tip is spoon-shaped, ovoid with sharp edges. To remove small chips of bone to smoothen the edge. When a fracture occurs, the end of the bone is almost always is irregular and rough. Then the small piece of bone, the irregular piece of bone, we can remove with bone nibbler. And this is another instrument. This is known as osteotome. With this, we cut the bone. Actually, we cut the bone with osteotome, and we put this instrument and we strike this instrument with a hammer here, and the bone is cut. Like anything, just you see we break the brick or break the stones or something like that. You see the working people, the manual laborer, they break all these things, the hard things, something like one hammer and one sharp instrument, that is something like osteotome. This is osteotome, and there is almost similar other instrument. This is chisel. This is chisel. Then osteotome, the strong handle with gradually narrowing shaft, sharp end, gradual beveling on both sides to cut the bone through and through. It is a sharp instrument and it should be chemically sterilized. This is osteotome, this is chisel. Then the chisel, strong handle, sharp end with bevel on one side only, other side is plain, to cut a small portion of chips of bone, control cutting. It is a sharp instrument and it should be sterilized chemically. Now see the difference between the osteotome and chisel. This is chisel. You see, the one side is straight and the other side is beveled. The one side is straight, the other side is beveled. This is chisel. And this is osteotome. You see, the both side is beveled. Therefore, in osteotome, the both side is beveled like this. But chisel, one side is straight and other side is beveled like this. This is the most important difference between these two instruments. Be careful. The osteotome is beveled on both sides like this. Can you see my hands? The osteotome is beveled like this on both sides, but chisel is one side is straight and another side is beveled like this. That is the chisel. Now, why the difference? Because when both sides is beveled, then you can cut easily through it. But when one side is beveled, you cannot cut easily. One side you cannot cut. It is straight. And therefore, it will cut very slowly, only on one side. Therefore, osteotome is used when we cut the bone through and through, all the way. But in chisel, it is something like slicing the bone, when only a part of the bone is removed, not all the bone through and through. Then we have to use the chisel. Okay, then these are the difference between osteotome and chisel. Please see the book carefully and try to understand the difference between osteotome and chisel. This is chisel. You see one end is straight and the other end is bevel. This is chisel. And this instrument, almost all of you know, this is a hammer. We also use in orthopedic surgery. Okay, I think, should we go further? Okay, I stop here for today. Therefore, today we have learned mostly the laparoscopic instrument and some of the orthopedic instrument. In orthopedic instrument, we have gone only the 4 instrument: the periosteum elevator, bone nibbler, osteotome, and chisel. Remember this 4 instrument. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.